Hello students, today in this class we are going to start a chapter Trigonometry. Trigonometry is one of the branches in mathematics which has a lot of real life applications. So this topic is very important, but this is an interesting chapter as well. You will surely love it. You might have heard the words sin theta, cos theta, tan theta and all. And you might have wondered hearing these words. And all these terms like sin theta, cos theta, tan theta, cot theta, etc. are all related to trigonometry. And in today's class, we'll be discussing those terms. Now let us discuss the definition of trigonometry. Trigonometry is a branch of mathematics that deals with the relationship between the sides and angles of a right angle triangle. So in trigonometry, what we are studying is the relationship between the sides and angles of a triangle. But the triangle should be a right angle triangle. So it is clear from the definition of trigonometry that the trigonometry, this branch, is applicable only for a right angle triangle. So let us discuss about a right angle triangle first. Consider the right angle triangle, triangle ABC. And angle B is 90 degree. We know that a triangle is called a right angle triangle if one of its angle is equal to 90 degree. And we know that in a triangle, the sum of all the three angles is equal to 90 degree. Since this angle is 90 degree, the sum of other two angles will be 180 minus 90, that is 90 degree. So each of these angles will be acute angles. Acute angle means angle which is less than 90 degree. And in a right angle triangle, each of the sides we can call by using different names. Here, angle B is 90 degree, that is right angle. The side which is opposite to the right angle in a right angle triangle, here it is AC. AC which is opposite to angle B, that is which is opposite to the right angle triangle, we will call it as hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. And here, I already told you that these two angles will be acute angle. If you are considering this acute angle, if we consider this angle, angle C, we can see that these two sides are adjacent to this angle. But we already named this adjacent side as hypotenuse. So here we take this adjacent side and we will name it as base. So in a right angle triangle, this side which is adjacent to an acute angle, we will call it as base. And we have one more side here, and this side is, you can see this side is opposite to this acute angle. And the side which is opposite to an acute angle in a right angle triangle, we will call it as perpendicular. But here we consider this acute angle. If you are considering this angle, this acute angle, the perpendicular will be BC and base will be AB. So the base and perpendicular in a right angle triangle depends upon the acute angle we choose. So now you know what are base, perpendicular and hypotenuse in a right angle triangle. Next, we are going to find out the ratio between different sides in a right angle triangle. Here, we can find out the ratio between the perpendicular and hypotenuse. So this is one of the ratio. And similarly, I can find out the ratio between base and hypotenuse. And we can find out the ratio between perpendicular and base. We know that the ratio 2:3 is different from that of 3:2. They are not equal. So, if we can find out the ratio between perpendicular and hypotenuse, I can also find out the ratio between hypotenuse and perpendicular. So, the another ratio that we can find out from this triangle is hypotenuse by perpendicular. That is the ratio between the hypotenuse and perpendicular. Similarly, I can find out the ratio between hypotenuse and base. So hypotenuse by base. And the last one is base by perpendicular. So these are the different ratios between the different sides in a right angle triangle. And in trigonometry, we will call these ratios using different names. Here you can see the different names that we used to call these different ratios. The ratio between perpendicular and hypotenuse, we will call it as sine. But in short, we will write it as sine. And the ratio between base and hypotenuse, we will call it as cosine. So instead of writing cosine, in short, you can write cos. And the ratio between perpendicular and base, we will call it as tangent, but we usually write only as tan. And the ratio between hypotenuse and perpendicular, we will call it as cosecant, but in short, you can call it as cosec. And the ratio between hypotenuse and base is called secant, but in short, you can write sec. And the ratio between base and perpendicular is cotangent. And instead of writing cotangent, you can simply write it as cot. So these are actually the ratio between different sides of a right angle triangle. And in trigonometry, these are known as trigonometric ratios.